Hey everyone, Brandon here from iDub Hockey, joined with Nick, who's the product manager of protective head and face protection here at CCM. In their headquarters in Montreal, we have your incredible new JetSpeed FT6 Pro elbow pad line today that we're gonna dive into. But before we do, how would you describe the fit profile and the style of player that the JetSpeed is made for?
Oh, absolutely. So when we're talking about JetSpeed, right, we're always thinking about low profile, that fast, agile, quick moving player when he's on the ice. Really easy way to describe it would be more of like a Connor McDavid style, really fast, can turn on a dime, really making sure that the gear is not hindering you on your ice, just allowing you to be more of yourself when you're playing.
And that mobility really comes down to just the way that you guys constructed it this year.
Absolutely.
Too. With the FT6 Pro, there's a unique design that you guys have implemented. And what did you guys do to address that mobility?
So a lot of different ways, right? And mobility can be addressed with weight, it could be addressed with comfort, it could be addressed with technologies that just allow your arm to be more articulated a lot better. So what we've done is all those three. So on the articulation side, what we've brought in is our flex motion bicep. So what this allows is, as your arm is moving up and down, it'll allow you to get that extra length, because when we're talking elbow pad, what's the first problem when everybody's talking about? It's not sitting right. You think of players that get on the face-off, what's the first thing they do? Is they'll fix their elbow pads. Everybody can relate to this. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that when you're placing your gear on your arm, it's actually staying, right? Because what's really important about protection is that your gear, yeah, it can be protective, but it's got to sit right to be protective.
That's right. I can't tell you how many times I'm always readjusting
Right?
my elbow pads after a shot,
There you
or
go.
a collision. Now we have incredible new technology this year, maintaining that JetSpeed DNA with feather-light protection, but AirTech thermoregulation system. So what is AirTech thermoregulation system, and what's the design behind it?
That's great. So AirTech thermoregulation system is basically our new technology that's designed to bring in cool air and get hot air out. So we apply it in a bunch of different ways when we're talking about our products. And this elbow pad, when we're talking about AirTech thermoregulation, we're going to be talking about our suspension system and ventilation system. So I'll take a look. We'll take a look at the inside of the elbow pad, and you guys will have a really good idea of what that looks like. So around the forearm, what you'll find is a nice little suspension mesh. What that creates is a nice little gap between you and the piece of equipment. So what this gap does is it creates a nice little corridor for all that airflow to come in, so all that moisture, all that humidity gets really aired out of the elbow pad. And what's really great also is that, yeah, bring in cool air, but that cool air needs to have an exit, right?
Right.
It can't just stay in the arm. So what we've done is all across the bicep, we created ventilation vents also all across the elbow pad to make sure that, yeah, cool air gets in. We want that hot air out, right?
Right. So incredible air circulation.
Always
and
important.
it's working with the rest of the line too, really to help regulate that body temperature and keep it cool, right?
Absolutely. Great way to put it.
Absolutely incredible. So what about the protection package? That JetSpeed player who's moving and dangling around players, they're still going to be in that collision, a few times a game. So what's going to be protecting them?
Hockey's a physical sport, right? So no matter what kind of player you are, you still need elite level of protection. So when we're talking JetSpeed, yeah, we got these fancy new lightweight techs, but the protection story is still there, right? We still have that great level of elite protection. And how do we address that? Well, it's a lot of different technologies. So people know our JDP elbow cap, that's really, really good to disperse impact energy away from the elbow, right? So when you think about when you're falling on the ice, your elbow is often one of the first point of impact as a reflex. You want to put your hand down, you want to put your elbows down.
Right.
So we really want to make sure that when your elbow is hitting that contact on the ice, that the pressure is not only applied at the cap, but that's distributed around your elbow to make sure that we avoid these injuries around the joints.
And what about that player who's deking and dangling through players, weaving their way just like Connor McDavid and taking a slash? What's going to be protecting them?
So what's really great about our FT6 Pro elbow pad is that we have a forearm guard. So our high density forearm guard is there to make sure that when you're playing, you really cover that top of the hand that's also often exposed, right, when you're playing around.
Right.
And as we know, players are getting really good with their sticks, so they're really good at finding these hidden areas to get the pain in, right?
That's true.
So when we're designing our products, these are all things that we take into consideration to make sure that when the player is feeling on the ice, he's feeling covered. Because when you feel covered, you have the confidence to play your best.
And another key story behind JetSpeed is that feather-light protection, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you've done that in a unique way to keep it low profile as well with exposed foams. So what's really the design behind using exposed foams?
So what's really great about exposed foam is, yeah, we get the sweat management side because it doesn't absorb a lot of sweat, but on the weight aspect, it's very light, right? So when we're thinking JetSpeed, we keep thinking about mobile, agility. These are all features that we really hold key in JetSpeed. And one of our great ways of achieving that is through our exposed foam technologies, because yeah, they're super thin and lightweight, but they're also very hard and protective to make sure that when you get these slashes, when you get these impacts around the elbow, around the bicep, you're still very well covered.
Awesome. And now let's finish off with that liner. Incredible comfort out of the box, and really helping to keep it locked on the arm. So yeah, let's talk about that liner.
Very important. So when we're talking about our comfort liner, it's super important that we give a nice little zone for that elbow to fit in, right? We want to make sure that when that elbow is sitting inside the pad, it has a nice little comfort donut to make sure that the elbow is supported around, right? So when you're falling on the ice, your JDP will be taking that first level of impact protection, but then that comfort liner inside will make sure that your elbow is sitting nice and comfortably as you're getting that impact.
Incredible. So we have the FT6,
great product,
next in line. Incredible elite level protection and amazing features for that competitive elite level player, but at a much more affordable price.
Absolutely.
So could you walk us through what is so unique and awesome about this price point?
Absolutely. So when we're looking at our FT6 product, very important that, again, we're talking about a second price point. So we're still talking about that elite player that's really light and mobile. So all these technologies still have to find themselves in that second price point, right? So when we're looking at the FT6, we have our great AirTech thermoregulation system throughout our suspension system in the forearm to make sure that that player has that nice little crease of airflow to get all that hot air and moisture out. So we have that great technology. Also, inside the liner, we have that great little comfort donut and that JDP cap. Very important on the protection and on the mobility side, right? Two very important technologies that we brought in here.
And that incredible fit and articulated bicep is still going to give that player that full range of motion?
Absolutely. And also what's really great is on the forearm guard, because of the AirTech system, it's going to sit much tighter around your forearm, so it's going to feel really great on your body, even though it has that nice little crease of airflow to pass through.
And in terms of protection as well, could you walk us through what's going to be covering the arm?
Absolutely. So we've got our forearm guard that's made of high density foams. We've also got our JDP cap to make sure, just like the first price point, that we have covered on the protection side. And we still have some great fitted materials on our bicep to make sure that when you're getting slashed on the ice, you're still covered on our great second price point.
And last but not least, the FT680. Incredible value here for a ton of players.
Oh yeah.
From that recreational beginner to a competitive player.
Product that fits all.
So walk us through this, please.
Absolutely. So we're talking about our FT680 elbow pad here. So when we're talking about this product, we've got great protection on our forearm. We've got great coverage on our elbow cap with our JDP cap. We've got our great level of protection on the bicep as well. So yeah, we're talking about a traditionally built elbow pad, but what's traditional is great too, right? So we're not shying away from our older elbow pads. We just brought in technologies that worked really well in the past and just upgraded and to give it a fresh new look with the FT680.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Nick, for walking us through this line.
Absolutely, thank you.
And for you at home, if you want to get your hands on one of the new JetSpeed elbow pads this year, you can head over to icewarehouse.com.
See you guys.